music for Lagos.
102.3 Max FM.
On the radio, Big Sarah, Real Skills, and Samson Malaki in the studio, and we're talking Asake's 230.
Yes.
And we just listened to that one right
Again,
now.
Yeah. Man.
First thoughts when the song came out. You know, the song came out when Davido's album was still on everyone's mind, and we're like, is this song going to make it to number one on Apple Music, on Spotify?
And then 24 hours later, it did.
It did. So first thoughts when you heard the song, what came through your mind?
I mean, so first off, it's Asake. I really know what to expect, like, because
you already knew what to expect.
I know what to expect.
Okay. Is that because
so you're not expecting the unexpected?
No. So there's one thing when people say I should not expect this, is that everybody should have a sound. I'm not saying it should sound monotonous. So Asake has a sound. We already heard the snippet, so I mean the snippet was out there for the longest. We were expecting, we were all anticipating the song.
For the longest, for like 2 days.
No, it was there.
It was. You put it out like a while,
I think,
before the song
3
finally
weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, the snippet was on social media.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, people were even anticipating this. So I think some people are saying that he had to pause because of David's album or something. We don't know. But talking about that, the song it's a great song. I love it. Yes, I do. I do, because there are different reasons why I love it.
Why do you love it?
Asake is original, he's authentic. So even though he has gone international, he's not ready to switch up. When I mean switch up is that the core things about his brand is still holding a very, very dear. The Yoruba thing around him, the way he dresses, like the sound. So when he tried to do something different, before you guys were complaining, he did yoga. He said, "Oh, this is."
I didn't complain. I didn't complain.
No, I did not complain about yoga as well. To be honest, like when he did yoga, I applauded him.
Yeah, it felt like he was trying to.
But did you follow the conversation solely? Like we had more. So because people already have something in their head, like this is what to expect from maybe up tempo from this. So I know that what he did with the first single of the year was just to show us a direction. You guys just beyond the song for me. It's that.
Think about it, bro. So like what you said is a very interesting conversation that we should tap into real quick. People always expect a certain type of tempo or a certain type of sound, but then at the end of the day, the artist is supposed to be the one to say this is how I'm feeling, because he or she is the creator of the music, and then he or she will serve the music as he or she, he's our spirit is actually vibrating the sound and the direction. And either we like it or not, the up tempo is not what makes people enjoy a song, or neither is it the low tempo.
Facts.
Right? So even though you've loved an Asake that brings the up tempo, if it serves you good low tempo or mid tempo, you would love it. So in a way, I feel like what we should, what we're expecting should not come to bear in this conversation for real. I just want to throw that out there for real. I don't know what you think about that.
So let me explain. So when January starts, most times people don't know which sound will actually lead the year.
Okay.
So that's why what used to happen before is that people always chill in January and not drop songs, February and not drop songs, and like let other people experiment and see what will work. So the thing that works, everybody now jumps on it. Away from you say so people that thing you mentioned, people like doing it in their albums or projects. That let me tell you how I feel. This is how I feel. This is where I am right now. Omale, I'm heartbroken. This is this. Do you understand what I mean now? But in singles are more commercially intended, because you want to be in the convention, you want to sell. So singles are more commercially inclined. That's what you want to do with singles, not projects.
No, but then
so to lead to what you were saying.
Yeah.
So he took all of the risks and actually just did this thing like this is how I'm feeling.
That was on yoga.
That's on yoga.
Right.
Then switching back to this is that there's a lot of conversation about his sound that somebody else. Should I mention names?
Of course.
Absolutely, please go ahead.
We know the name. Should I mention the name?
No, so people are saying Sheyi vibes. Shaggy sounds like Sheyi vibe, and this is sound like this. Those are people. So I love it that he went to his core thing, that this is me. This is who I am. This is my thing.
And that's a conversation that I totally disagree with. I honestly feel like Asake and Sheyi vibes sonically got two different sounds entirely. Now, granted, they're both street hop artists, but they sound different. They're like far apart when it comes to their sound. You see, Sheyi Vibe's flow is even totally different from Asake's flow, the way they deliver, their lyrics and all that. So I don't know about that. But then you said something at the beginning. Let's tap into that. A lot of people will say, this song sounds a bit too similar to a lot of songs that he has done before now. You know, how do you,
That's my school.
So
of thought.
Sarah is of
so
that
that's
school
why
of
he had
thought.
to. So if you notice the production credit, he didn't just work with Magic 6, his normal producer. We had the guest producer on the song.
So 2 producers
That's
on the
Blaze Beats Uber.
Uh-huh.
Do you get that's why you had to add some element and all to it. I know that lots of people are saying, you say it sounds like this, sounds like that.
No, why I'm saying that is because we enjoyed Asake all through last year.
For real.
This
Word.
vibe was everything to
Word.
us. I carried Asake on my head. It's literally for someone who doesn't understand Yoruba, you know, but then I just want to vibe and have a good time. Asake delivered that. But then my own expectation, now I'm speaking from the angle of a fan and a listener, right? My own expectation was I'm expecting this sound to progress, to elevate.
To what?
Look at Wizkid, and we saw what Wizkid did with his first album. Before Wizkid did Ayo, we saw how Wizkid's music changed. Not like changed as far he moved from sounding like Wizkid, but we saw a graduation. We would use Davido as an example as well. We'd use Burna Boy
as well.
I'm using these people because this is where Asake is going. He's
so
on the top.
You know what we're gonna do? Both of you hold that top for a minute. Let's go listen to the song again, and then we come back to the review and the dissect. Right? Let's do that. He's an air now, a prominent air now in the Nigerian music industry space as well as the African music industry space as well, and of course he's also a global consultant musically as well. But the focus that we're zooming into is Asake's 230 right now,
230.
and Sarah is like she's sitting.
I was citing an example,
exactly.
and
like
I was saying that I was giving you an example of Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Davido, and I'm using these 3 people because we know that's where Asake
the evolution
is
of their
headed.
sound,
exactly, and then the evolution of their sound. So now for people like you who believe that they need to make it a commercial success and whatever, I feel like Afrobeat is in a place where we need something new. Now that something new was what Asake used to catch our attention last
when
year.
he came.
Yes, he gave us something new, a breath of fresh air, and that's where the industry is at right now. We need a breath of fresh air. So when you're releasing songs that we can predict, like we know how it's heading, we know what's going on, we know, do you understand? Now you're losing that essence of something new, that breath of fresh air, and then people are having these conversations. Is it exactly commercially successful again though? Because I know the last time I checked, it has even dropped from number 1. Normal Asake wouldn't drop from number 1. So if it's working, would he drop?
So Malaki, this is the point where you take the.
Let me address this. So it's okay to compare. You've mentioned like 3 or 4 people.
I mentioned the OGs.
Wizkid, Burna Boy,
and how
Davido.
they maintained,
So even though Asake I've been in the game for the longest, like from writing for people, doing the backup, I know people don't even know that he was on Black Bones, Mr. Bombastic. He did some vocals. He wrote for Tenny and played a couple of guys. So he came into real limelight last year. So what you call Asake's sound is that he needs to own it for a while.
I mean, we got an album off of that.
When you mean, hold on, the album is not even out yet.
We got Mr. Money.
I mean second album. So you've mentioned Wizkid and this. They evolved with time. Wizkid has been in the game for over 10 years now. That sound did not change.
But it evolved.
It's just 1 year. What is a brand? A brand is known for consistency. Do you understand? So the fresh air you're looking for, that's why you brought a guest producer. It doesn't teach you that shot the video.
But then the guest producer didn't even, it didn't give us the desired
change.
So it might have been looking for.
Exactly.
It was still the same thing.
You could still argue that.
Blaze Beat connected with the usual suspect Majestic.
Exactly.
And both of them still
the only way you would know that somebody else was there.
It's just a
Exactly. So there's some core elements into it that can actually just begin. So, but let me explain something. If I wake up tomorrow and Asake is doing R&B, it's too risky. As a business, as a record label executive, I would not agree immediately.
After 1 year.
After 1 year, you can actually experiment. You can experiment in the album.
No one is saying you
so
should do
this
R&B.
is, like I mentioned earlier, this is a single. This year is just starting. This is just April. We have lots of months.
Well,
you might expect a project from him. All of those experimentation you're looking for, you see them. But as a single now, you talked about him not being number 1. Davido has a solid album. It's Davido. He's been off for a while.
Yeah,
for him to even get to number 1, you should actually commend him.
That's
because
something
that's
that
so
in the
much.
first place is very
But
cool.
do you understand? Like that's so much. So
but then at the same time, I still feel like if there was let me ask
Malaki something.
Solid,
let me ask you something, because from what it is that we have in front of us, it was clear that bringing 2 producers together meant that you wanted to achieve something different. If Asake indeed was trying to just maintain the same flow that he's had, then there will be no need to bring Blaze Beat into the picture. Don't you think about
something different came in on Yoga? See,
but it didn't come in
Yoga wasn't
on this one.
The
beat is fine, no doubt about that. See, the pen game. See, the reason why we're not even talking about. See that we're not even talking about the pen game or the beat. All of that is fire.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Great.
But then, we're talking about the sonic.
Even me that's talking
feel.
now. If I'm at the club and this song comes on, I'm going to have a good
time.
time.
Have in mind that he did all of the experiments with Yoga. That was a difference. Some people don't even know how to describe Yoga. All of the experiments,
and people loved it.
Exactly.
They loved it.
It was respected.
It was nice.
And it was loved.
Commercially, it wasn't the best of his releases.
So commercially, sometimes that term is relative in the sense that a lot of people tend to equate commerciality of a song to it being played in the club. But then they forget that a song is also commercially viable if it does well on the charts. If it gets the streaming numbers and figures from people that don't club in the club or club in their house.
Yeah.
And the kind of music that they might like is Yoga. You know what I mean?
Yoga is timeless.
You agree?
Yoga is timeless. Yoga is timeless. So
it's 2:30 timeless. It's 2:30 timeless because that's the song we're talking about today. It's 2:30 a timeless song.
What's timeless?
Timeless is Davido's album.
You know what we're gonna do? Let's go play some music and then we'll come back for the final take. Because this is getting more fiery as we go on. And I know sometimes
it's relative. Timeless is relative.
So it's 2:30 timeless to
the
you.
Message,
is it relatively timeless to
you?
The
message in the song is timeless.
It's Palazzo timeless. I don't think anybody would argue. Would all say yes, right? It's Palazzo timeless.
Timeless.
Yes.
Timeless doesn't just cut across the sound only. The message also, is also a part of something being timeless.
So 2:30 has a lot of self-appraisal. When you feel down, you want to work on your confidence game.
You just remember that it's almost 2:30. Let's go and have fun. Let's go and enjoy ourselves. I don't know.
There are different things in the song. Away from those, let's go and have fun. There's something he addressed in the song. I am this, I am that, I am this.
Let me even give you a typical example. A club song can be timeless, and if perfect example is sometimes when we're in the club and then they play the hip hop jams.
All I do is win no matter what.
When it comes with
exactly.
So
that's a
this song
song
can be timeless.
That me do is timeless.
What do you say?
That me do is timeless.
100% timeless. But I don't know.
You guys hold that thought. Hold that.
And this is us trying to wrap up though. So now let's try and narrow this down to the song itself. 2:30. Even though you escaped the question when I asked you, is 2:30 a timeless song? You wiggled your way around it. But let's just move on. But if you're going to rate the song,
timeless is relative.
If you're going to rate the song though, over a 10.
On a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah.
Based off of the lyrics, based off of the message, based off of the general vibe, the production, everything, what would you give it?
Asake.
Not Asake now. Asake's 2:30.
The music. Now we're focusing on the not the brand Asake now. The music. This particular song.
So I feel you guys are actually putting me on the spot.
Not really.
So relatively for consistency's sake.
Yeah.
And looking at how beautiful he's actually he gave us an album, gave us an EP last year, and still has all of the beautiful writing and touch it. I'll give it 8 over 10.
Okay. The 8 is because of
consistency,
his background and consistency.
Yes,
from looking at the visuals. Have you seen the video?
I haven't seen the video.
I've seen the video.
It was shot
a lovely video.
It was shot in Los Angeles.
It had a lot of rapper branding.
Not
the usual suspect.
Oh, someone else.
So that's what I was telling you, that you need to actually listen to the song again. There's a whole lot going on with the brand.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot that was going on in the video that I liked. A whole lot of things were going down. I'm like,
so in your head, you're already thinking, okay, CJ Omari. That's why you've not seen. That's why you've not seen the video.
Well, you're expecting. You've caught me here. That's why I've not seen the video.
You're expecting.
Okay.
300 people in the background. but beautiful video.
Man.
So we need to give it up for Asake, coming out from there, holding it down for 1 year straight.
He did. He held
with
it
a
down.
solid 10 over 10 album for me.
Yeah, for me too.
10 over 10 album, giving us an EP. Asake is unique and different. Like you
I
cannot
agree.
say Asake is this. He sounds like this.
Which makes it, very proportional.
Very
When people
unique.
started comparing Asake
It was
and
Shay
Asake
vibes.
vibes, it was
But
like,
Asake had
it was one of the most ridiculous things
But-
I've
but-
heard in a while.
Skills.
For real.
But then it's not
Skills.
shocking because
Skills.
they're both street hop artists.
Asake
Nigerians
had
like
to.
to push
Skills.
people
Yeah,
like
like,
that.
why didn't they compare? So even this guy is a street up artist, Portable. You know what I mean?
Skills.
So why didn't
So,
they compare?
I tell everybody
She
this.
vibes
I
and
tell
Portable. I'm
everybody
just
this.
saying.
Ame babu.
Even Q Dot is a street hop artist. Why didn't they compare Q
So
Dot?
let me explain. Let me
I'm
explain.
just
I
saying.
tell everybody this. Asake had to run for Shay Vibes to fly. The aesthetics of Shay Vibes has, you see the influence of Asake around it.
Okay.
Very, very, because okay, you might say that it's because TG actually did some of the video shoot and all when you see what he does with the video, the crowd, the movements, the grills, the outfits, you see Asake around it also.
So
But the fusion of the
that's
sound,
one thing.
The fusion of the sound also, they may not really sound the same, but if you close your eye and listen to that song, let's be sincere, who comes to your head? Which sound comes close to your head?
Nobody comes to my head.
Asake.
Asake, except Asake.
I feel what.
Nobody else except Asake just
See.
comes to my head.
See, let's go to Enugu, or let's go to let me not say Dokiti, let's go to Jos or somewhere in Kebbi and play that song to a normal market person or somebody in the street and say, who be this? They'll tell this Asake.
No, like I
feel
agree
you.
on that
I
front
feel
right
you.
there, man.
I feel you.
So
On the scale of 1 to 10,
He said 8.
an 8 for you. Sarah, on the scale of 1 to 10.
Sarah, please.
See, on the scale of 1 to 10,
Sarah doesn't like this song.
judging just the song,
yeah.
I would give it an 8 as well,
Okay.
because it's not a bad song. But then,
But you
based
can't
off
judge
of
just the
maintaining-
song.
that's
You
what-
have to
That doesn't
put all the
have any bad song.
coefficients
That's what I'm saying. So
into
Shake
putting
doesn't-
everything,
Shake
putting everything
doesn't have any bad song.
I agree
Thank
100%.
you.
But putting everything into
Putting
focus.
everything into focus based off of hearing this, and I hated that I could predict where the sound was going. I'll just give it a 5.
A 5.
5 because it's not a bad song, but just because he set the bar so high, expectations
And it
are
sounded
so
the
high,
same.
and somehow he just didn't cut it for me.
I feel you.
But then I love his brand. I love everything his team is doing with
So
him.
there's a
And
problem.
I'm rooting
No, for me,
for him.
have a
so
problem.
for me,
I have a
I'll
problem.
score that song like for me, I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
Because everything was right about the sound. The 3 that he lost, he dropped an album that was 10 over 10. This song would probably have gotten 10 over 10 from me, but the 3 he lost was from sounding almost the same. But then it's a great song, no doubt about that. So I'll give this a 7
that's
from me
branding.
as well. I understand that
Your
part.
branding should
Malak,
elevate.
yeah, we get there.
Branding is consistency.
We get there.
You need to own this first before you evolve.
He has
You cannot
done it
just-
enough with an EP and an album. You've held it down solid.
The-
So the problem is this. This is the
second album
problem.
is not even out yet.
At
no
this
problem.
point,
Then
at
you
this
just
point,
started.
at this
Second
point, I will have to just put my hand in between Malaki and Sarah, because if we continue, we will not end this conversation. And of course, time is now,
the
friend.
craziest part. We are both speaking from love for Asake.
For Asake, I
Because he
understand
really
that.
loves
I
him, and I really
can-
love him as well. But
I don't
somehow,
think you love Asake
I
that
do.
much.
Big up to you for coming through, bro. We can continue this conversation on and on, but we gotta get back to the music. If people want to connect with you on social media, how can they get to do that real quick?
I am Malaki. I am Malaki.
I am
Instagram.
Malaki.
I am Malaki.
I spelled it Malaki.
Malachy. I am Malaki.
Okay, so just Malachi, but then you don't call yours Malachi, it's Malaki.
Malaki.
That's branding. Like, right? Let's get back to the
Nice
music.
one, nice one.
Thank you for coming through, today, bro. We hope to, also, get to have you soon again, on New Music Review right here, on Max Sense for
My
real,
pleasure. Thank you guys.
Hit music for Lagos. 102.3 Max FM.